It's the final time that drivers get to unleash themselves and we potentially get to say new track record. Welcome along to RaceSpotTV and to another edition of a qualifying special. For the first time in 2 years, we're here at the Speedway. We're focused on going fast. The iRacing Indy 500 is this coming weekend. Our Junior Kenki party here, so excited for what lies ahead because we've got not one, not two, not three, but 4 different qualifying sessions in store for you all. And I'm delighted you join us here for the action. Now, as mentioned, we have iRacing Indy, or maybe I'm about to say it for the very first time, iRacing Indy 500 and iRacing Indy Fixed 500. It's an important difference, of course. Fixed setup's the name of the game when it comes to the Fixed 500. When it comes to the open setup, you know those drivers have been dialing themselves in as much as they can. On the left side of the screen, we'll keep you updated with the qualifying standings as we roll on. The drivers have just gotten out on track as well. I can let you know that right now for the qualifying sessions that are rolling out as well. So we will take a look at the 4-lap averages as they roll on in. And if you cannot tell, my apologies for being somewhat distracted, but multitasking behind the scenes here on RaceSpotTV always leads to some intrigue. On the left side, you should see those times update in a few moments' time with the latest of the reports from iRacing. And we will take a look at cars out on track for the very first time. There's one of the Team Redline entries. Not quite sure who it is. As we take a look at now one of the Williams Esports drivers. That is Kamil Grabowski. We've got so many different names trying to make themselves known. Again, that timing tower on the left, just the fixed setup times so far today. I see George Simmons, Pash Curious jumping in to cheer on their respective charges. Remember, they'll have open qualifying session coming up in a few moments' time. There's Casey Kerwin, who has forgotten to update his livery. Casey, you're on a new team now, in case you didn't know. And Christopher Strickland fires off and away. Now, I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but apparently I've joined a qualifying session that neither Phil Kraus nor Brandon Traino are in. We'll see them in a few moments' time, hopefully. I do see Jacob Oster in here. Where's the Worm Man? There he is. Worm Man, Spaceman, whatever we're calling him. He's got the hat on, though. Oh, looking good as Jacob. Works his way to the line. Now Dylan Alt's become the first driver to set a time, a 4-lap run in this session. Look for that to pop up on the left-hand side of your screen. So that's a 39.499. Remember, the fastest time so far. Oh, Jacob gives us a wave. Jari Lehtinen about 200ths off on the 4-lap average. Fastest so far, a 39.470. So for Dylan Alt, 499, actually going to jump him up inside the top 15 if I get it correct. Grabowski to 4th. 39.444 his average, I believe. In fact, it's been so long since we've been back at the Speedway. Let's see, I hope that's the correct averages. Michael Romanidis jumps to the top. Coanda Esports' own. The focus in qualifying, by the way. We're talking high focus to get 16 perfect corners. Jacob Oster is on, I believe, his 2nd time lap. Sander Nijhoff now up to 3rd with a 39.501. One more fixed qualifying session to come after this in about 60 minutes' time. We've got the first of our 2 open sessions coverage to come in about 20 minutes or so. Oster off and away. Who's on their 4th lap right now? Luke McEwen is on his final lap in the Apex Racing team entry. Alessandro Bico has just jumped up with a 4.88 onto the board. Now, I'm having to look at the spreadsheet in front of me. A 4.88 would actually get Bico, who is already in 9th position, up into 7th. So we're talking fine margins. Here, though, comes McEwen. 39.529 is third lap time. What's the fourth one going to be? It's a 5.58, and so the 4-lap average for McEwen is a 4.91. Berryman with a 4.82. Now, a handful more drivers on their fourth lap. Oster and Harrington amongst them included. Great to be able to get not one but two different drivers sharing us a look behind the scenes. There is Connor Harrington, who's quite focused. Look at the shoulders, rounded in. You know exactly what is going on. Christian Seal says fix it isn't real. Jacob Oster with the thumbs down. He's not very happy with that. Kerwin with a 5.04. Sawyer a 5.11. Jacob's still not too unhappy, I think. Connor Harrington in the private label team Hype Machine does a 5.18. He might be a little bit more disappointed. Now a couple of the Brazilians. Focus on them. Rodrigo Franzoni. BK Racing Zone. 4.93 for him. Pretty good. Pretty respectable. And now, Adriano Pinheiro. Been a while since we've got to see him on RaceSpotTV. What's he got in store? To the line. 4 laps complete. And Pinheiro with a 4.99. Now matches what Dylan Alt was able to do, but no better. And so, just like that, that qualifying session is complete. They don't last very long, do they? And we'll get an updated qualifying rundown for you in a few moments' time. In the meantime, let's see if we can catch up with the king of the bricks, Brandon Treno, standing by. Brandon, how's it going? It's a fast Friday, if you will, but unfortunately, you're just here for qualifying. You won't be here for the race. It must feel a little bit weird, a little uncomfortable.
Why do you have to bring that up as the first question you ask me? What are you trying to do?
Just so that everyone knows.
Are you trying to make me cry to the, 50 people watching us right now?
No, just so everyone knows that you're here just because you love Indy and because you want to go fast.
I do love Indy, except that was my first qualifying attempt on the fixed setup, and I hit the wall on the second lap, so we're going to leave it to the last session and hopefully not suck.
Well, unfortunately, the way the iRacing sessions work, I thought I'd join the one that you'd be in, but apparently not, so we didn't get to see the qualifying run. Talk to us about the fixed setup. You know your fair share about qualifying at Indy. How does this setup compare?
Well, the only lap and a half that I did was quite twitchy, very pointy compared to the open setup, where it's really gripped up, not really going to move around the track as much. This one pretty much turned me right to the apex, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not what I was expecting. So we'll give the next one a go and hopefully not mess it up.
Talk to us as well about this new track scan, because it's the very first time we've had qualifying for the iRacing Indy 500 at this version of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How does this compare? Where do the bumps move around? Talk to us about those qualifying runs.
Yeah, the line seems to have been almost tightened up a little bit on entry and exit. We're definitely pinching a little bit more, I would say, on the exits. The bump in turn 2 in the center that's notorious doesn't seem to be there anymore, at least not as noticeable. But the bump on the exit of turn 2 where the gate is still there.
Okay, so you've still got some bumps.
Yes.
I tell you what, let's bring in your Team i5G teammate, Jacob Oster, to have a chat with us as well. Jacob, you gave us a thumbs down, but you still ended up with a relatively decent 4-lap average. How do you feel about that run?
Somehow I improved by 5 thousandths, which I was not expecting considering my lap 1. So I was a little bit happy about that. That's why I was doing thumbs down, because that first lap was terrible. Every other lap kind of felt terrible. This set drives like trash. Like, I mean,
See, I'm not the only one.
who thought this was okay?
See, the thing is, when you have the Team i5G qualifying setup, it's okay to say things like that. So what I need to do, apparently, is go up to Christian Steele's place so I can try out this magic carpet ride that you effectively have found. Now, let's talk about the open qualifying session in about 15 minutes' time. Jacob, you going for a run?
Yeah, I'm trying to go into a practice session right now so that the fix set doesn't ruin my speed, which, I don't have as much speed as my teammates, but I'm going to try again, see if I can get it knocked down and maybe get an O instead of just a 1-0, because that really should have been an O, but I screwed up.
And Brandon, Jacob's saying that he's getting ready to go, and qualifying's relatively important, track position important. How different is it getting the feel adjusted between the fixed and the open setup? Don't need to tell us exactly what's happening in that open setup, but what magic tricks have you found in Team i5G's car that just makes it go that bit faster?
Yeah, there's just how it drives, right? How I said it's really pointy, and any open set, at least most of them, of the top teams, I would assume, are pretty planted and really predictable. So Chris, if he ever comes in here, can vouch that he ran the fixed qualifying sessions for quite a while and tried to come back to the open and was just miles off pace. So I'm going to not practice for open and see what happens, because I've been struggling with the speed recently. I was a little bit faster than Michele for quite a while, and then all of a sudden he's back to his usual alien form, and I've lost like 200. So we'll see here.
So hashtag YOLO. What we can do now as well, great thing about these qualifying shows is we'll just continue to jump between the various drivers who get ready to come and have a chat with us. We saw Connor Harrington in that previous fixed session as well. Connor, talk to us about the 4-lap run. How are you feeling with just a handful of sessions left to go? He's forgotten to set his mic up as well. Look at that. Come on, Connor.
Unbelievable.
He'll get there. He'll get there. He's got all the product placement as well, set it up where...
Paging Dr. Connor.
There we go. It would help if I, unmuted my mic.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, we're in trouble for fixed. I think we just moved to 34th there. Obviously, we've been trying so hard on the open setup. I'm kind of just jumping into the fixed one cold, and I can definitely attest to the fact it feels like it's a magic carpet ride. You don't know, like you move the wheel half a degree and you just steer dead right into the fence. So we'll see if we can maybe pull out some last ditch magic and see if we can get ourselves in the top 33.
And, well, are you going to be trying to do the double, both the fixed and the open 500, if you make the fast 33?
We'll see how the open races. I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty packy. And I'm not sure if 1,000 miles of an Indy pack race is necessarily how I want to spend my weekend. Open qualifying and race set stuff already makes me want to pull my hair out enough that I'm not sure if I want to do it again. But we'll see. It might be fun to come from the back and see if we can maybe make something happen there. I'm just trying to find literally 1,000th. That's all I'm trying to find. So if we can do that and fix, then we're good. As far as open, I think I'm about where I'm going to be. I think I'm skill limited, but I'm hopeful that that Phil can maybe find some last second magic here.
And I think we officially, by the way, have the updated times from the previous fixed session, and so I think Jacob is still... Are you in 15, Jacob? Does that sound correct? Oh, he's gone and left us. Connor, are you in 31st? Does that sound correct to you?
No, I think I'm 34th.
Ah, okay, well...
So I'm one out. I'm in the Nolan Siegel honorary position, so...
Well, are you thinking
we'll
open or fixed, sorry?
Oh, I'm thinking for fixed.
Okay, well, so my fix is saying that you're in 34th. 31st, rather, not 34th.
I am, yeah. Oh, really?
So maybe it did get updated. I was wondering, is it working or not?
On the results page on the Legacy site, it says I'm 34th.
What time does it say you've done?
A 5:11.
Okay, that's also what I see, but it says you're in 31st on this. Oh, this is great.
Oh, God. I'm going to trust the Legacy website, although who knows, it could be broken, but I think that's where I'm at.
I think you should trust that as well. It's just now made me scared that I've got no idea what's going on. Phil has helpfully sent me some things, and I think I might just be waiting for some updates to come in, so maybe it's just taking a little bit longer. Let's bring in your teammate Phil Krause. So, Phil, are you gonna go pole this year?
We'll see. We'll see, Arjuna. It's a tall ask to see if we can go pole. I'm pretty much at my limit already, but we'll give it a send or two.
Okay, let's talk open qualifying here. Let's not talk fixed for a second. As I think many people in the community will know, it's a real grind this week to get the setup dialed in, to get exactly where you need. What's it been like for you behind the scenes with Team Talent and the private label Team Hype?
I don't want to elaborate on how long Jason and I were up last night trying to find speed, because we saw how far off we were once Michele and Trina went real fast. Like at that time, our best run was like a 2:11 something, and we stayed up real late grinding just to find some speed in the car, and it paid off for sure. But man, I am tired. We were up till 4 in the morning last night trying to find speed.
And how's the race set?
Fingers crossed. It's better
hold
than
on.
it's been in previous years.
We've done a year's worth of development work. We should be okay, maybe, probably. I don't know.
But so does everyone else.
Yeah, he's got you there, Connor.
Ah, damn.
Oh, rats. There we go. Anyway,
It's been more than a
hashtag.
year and a half anyway.
Well, that's true. Open wheels. That would have been
Yeah.
the last
That was
one.
that was the only race we've had on this scan. Well, I mean, there was the Elite 500, but like.
Hey, hold on. I'm a broadcast 500 winner on the new scan. I will take that to the grave. It might have only been against Nick DeGroot and some NASCAR guys, but I will take it to the grave and it counts. Broadcast 500s are hard to win, folks.
I forgot about the FTF. What was it, rectangle 500K or something?
No, it was a full distance one.
All right.
Well, as we get ready to go for the open session, Phil, you are what, 4 thousandths off on the 4-lap average of Michele Costantini. I don't think many people would have believed coming into the week, especially since the weather cooled down on us a little bit, that we'd be down in the 39.2s. Fair to say?
Oh yeah, no. I gave you my prediction after open on Monday.
Yeah, sorry.
Mile off. Yeah, I didn't factor the humidity in. I think if the humidity was factored in, yeah, that would have actually been pretty close. But yeah, the cooler weather and definitely the humidity really threw a wrench into things setup-wise, because I don't know how much Michele and Trino have had to change their car from what they were running in the hotter weather, but we've had to do a lot of changes to our car just to find straight line speed, really.
Hyperjacking, core binding, that's what you're doing. Secrets, grip hacks.
Yeah, the grip packs.
I still
Don't
want to
ban
be
me,
able
John
to.
iRacing. I swear, it's a joke.
I still want to be able to go 234 for an average lap. Can we get that? Maybe that'd be kind of nice.
That would be nice.
I don't actually know what we are for miles an hour, Arjuna. Would we have bumped Nolan Siegel from the Indy 500 with our current times?
I think we're barely there.
You know what? I can actually go and probably find this out if I go through and dig through my open wheels like records. I'm pretty sure like that the master spreadsheet that we have, it can convert.
Yeah, I think I remember that was in miles an hour.
Right. So okay, I tell you what was Nolan Siegel in miles per hour?
Oh, great. Now I gotta go find
Yeah,
that.
no, okay.
Well,
If I'm finding the
how-
spreadsheet, you're helping me in some other way.
All right, yeah,
To
I
be fair,
got
it was as fast as the record would drive away from turn one. But you know,
Okay, so what's the average right now? 196.
195.
Okay, 195. Got to be factually correct. So that would be 229.621 miles an hour.
I think that's quicker than Siegel. 'Cause
Let's
I only remember
go!
him doing a 229.4.
I think we were still slower than Graham though, so I don't think we would have made. We wouldn't
Yeah,
make the
I
race,
think we
but
were
we would have
slower
beat
than
Nolan
Graham.
Siegel.
Well, we've got to set the bar appropriately, right? So there we go.
Now,
Eddie, go ahead.
let's not talk about the amount of tubs that every collective team has written off
No,
testing
let's.
for Indy 500Q.
Let's. How many crashes in testing? Not in the qualifying alone. How many crashes are we going through in the tests?
Well, let's just say if we were real IndyCar teams,
It'd be expensive.
We'd all be bankrupt. No, not just expensive. We'd all be bankrupt.
We've probably knocked the tire bundle at the end of the attenuator all the way over to turn two.
We
Like, for
pushed
the
that
collective
attenuator in a
time
good
Well-
few feet.
that we've put at the attenuator.
It's funny you mention that. Hasn't Team I5G had their fun with the attenuated, Brandon?
I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. We'll have to go into the archives at some point.
I've had some wicked crashes in the attenuator. I think I landed in the infield grandstand at one time.
Did you? Oh man, we've had some fun. Anyway, so who's going to give us a commentated qualifying run here amongst
Do we have to do rock, paper, scissors?
I mean, I can pick short straws if you'd like.
Oh God, I don't know if
This is your show. You
I'd
make
have
the
the
decision.
hot mic. Oh, that'd be bad.
Oh, hot
I think
mic all the way
Connor
around.
said he wants to do the run. Okay, copy.
Connor, okay, we're doing it.
All right, sounds good.
Open or fixed? You can pick. Which of the
Oh,
sessions?
No, the fixed one I got.
No, Connor has to do a fixed run.
I have to sweat.
That would be
for
the ultimate pressure situation.
For open, we'll go. We'll go here. We'll hop mic.
I don't know if
and
Brandon's doing a fixed run.
We'll do it.
Oh, I have one more shot, or else I don't make the field for Sunday, so we'll see.
Oh, is there a chance you may make
did
the
you do the
Sunday
last
race?
Yeah, assuming the NASCAR race
Okay.
it doesn't get rained out.
Everybody in our chat and are watching around the world, the opposite of a rain dance. It's sun dance time. When's on Saturday?
Yes.
So Brandon can pit. Who are you pitting for, just so everyone can cheer you on as well?
Ty Majeski.
So everyone can cheer on Ty Majeski. Make sure that Brandon doesn't make a mistake down on pit lane. And hashtag FMR as well. I don't know if I know if I've said that so far today. The only person in this broadcast booth that would get that is Jacob, but he has muted himself. Let's bring in Alexander Russell for a bit of a chat as well as we get ready for the penultimate of our open qualifying sessions. Alex, of course, part of the Satellite Racing Camp. Alex, how are you feeling right now? Of course, it's getting down to crunch time. It's business time in qualifying.
Well, I can say I don't feel as well as they probably do, but I'm feeling pretty well. It's a 23rd at the moment. It's not what I'd want, but it's a great starting spot, nonetheless.
And I kind of alluded to why qualifying well is important. Talk to us about why qualifying up front is so important. How difficult do you guys anticipate it is going to be to get to the front of the field over the course of the 200 laps?
I can tell you that from the open race, the setup I was running, it didn't have a lot of turn and dirty air, but through the 500 we've made a lot of progress with our race set. If the temps stay cold, it could be anyone's race from the back to the front, but I think it'll be pretty dependent on qualifying if it goes green.
Talk to us about the year you've had across of, eNASCAR Road to Pro and all the different things you've been juggling. Of course, I'm sure this is just another dot on the agenda that's been rather busy for you.
Oh, the month of May itself, there's no words to describe the amount of testing and practice I've had to do. It's been a lot, but I enjoy every second of it. I have a great team with eNASCAR and then running with Satellite Racing, being able to do the Indy 500. There's nothing like it.
Okay. Are you trying to do the double? I'm asking everyone who comes in. Are you trying to do fixed and open on the same weekend this year, knowing that hopefully next year we can split them up into 2 different weeks and you don't have to try and stress even more?
I think I'll do a fixed run just for fun, but it's not right now in the plan. The Saturday split is the main priority, and if I can do well there, maybe I'll have some fun in the fixed.
I'll let you go off and focus on qualifying. Thanks for coming to chat with us, Alex, and best of luck for the runs you've got in store.
Hey.
Alexander Russell jumps into the broadcast booth, and again, just remember, we've got a handful of these sessions left to go. Open coming up next, and as it stands right now, we've got 33 drivers covered by, across of the 4-lap average, just under a quarter of a tenth of a second. You blink and you make a mistake. It is as simple as that. And we still have Connor Harrington, Brandon Trainer, and Phil Kraus in the broadcast booth with us. Don't forget Connor Harrington. We're putting him through the gauntlet of talking us through a qualifying run in a few moments' time. But Phil, how much do you blink on your qualifying runs? How dry do the eyes get?
I wait till the middle of the straight. That's my blinking opportunity, because the exit, you're right up next to the wall. The entry, you're right up next to the wall. Middle of the straight, I tend to pull it off a little bit. I know most people, well, not most people, but there's a handful of people who keep it right up on the wall, but that's my opportunity to blink.
I'm just taking a look, by the way. The Zoom's getting busy, and we've got characters coming in aplenty. Take a look at some of the faces, not just Brandon Traino, Connor Harrington, but now the sunglasses out in force for not just the hyperstar Brendan Lichtenberg, but Matt Pavelski as well, rocking the same shades that he was last weekend during the 108th running of the Indy 500. Jacob's gone and put his actual spotter's headphones on, so we're having some fun. Brandon, what's the mood been like inside of Team i5G? You know, Alex Russell mentioned all the practice that has been done. I know that you guys have had so many people helping and developing behind the scenes.
Yeah, the mood's pretty good. We feel really good about the race setup we have. We're not really looking forward to what the track temperature is going to start at, because it's probably going to be a really packed type race, and that usually leads to a little bit of chaos. But hopefully all of our guys are far enough towards the front here that we'll be around the regulars who are a lot more level-headed, I guess you'd say, and know the situation that we're in, and can at least get to halfway before we start making really aggressive moves.
Focus in on Brendan Lichtenberg in particular, who's now I've worn a racing suit while doing a race before Porsche All-Stars earlier this year. It wasn't comfortable. I don't think I'd recommend it. Qualifying, definitely not something I think I'd recommend to.
He's got to be sweating in that thing.
I know, there's got to be a perspiration issue going on right now. Like,
did you feel immersed when you were racing in that suit, though?
No, I just felt very sweaty. And then, to be honest, because we had the actual, Super Cup, Porsche Esports Super Cup after that, I got out of the suit as soon as I could and threw it as far away as I could. It still probably needs to go through the wash. Phil, are we going to let you go off and qualify in peace, or are you going to stick around for a little bit longer?
I'll stick around.
Oh, look at that. We can interrupt you on your qualifying run. That's quite irritating, right?
Just a little.
God, that's so bad.
I promise, Connor, I won't do that for you. No promises about Phil, though.
Unless?
No promises about Phil. Right, here we go. We've got one more fixed session to go. The penultimate of the open qualifying sessions is about to open up. And, well, 16 more perfect corners, what all of these drivers are searching for. Now, Brandon, one thing in particular that I think I saw you, maybe it was in the iRacing IndyCar community Discord referencing, was very different from the Open Wheels 500 is this week, right? Because you can do as many sessions as you want. Every time you go out, your time's not withdrawn, whereas, Open Wheels 500, you get 3 runs. Every time you go out, you withdraw your run. Slightly different type of pressure.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, a lot more relaxed, where like you said, the Open Wheels one is probably the most intense qualifying you may have around here, minus the Driver World Championships and PESC and stuff. Last year, I'm still mad at my teammates for not letting me go back out and trying to beat Phil when I'm pretty sure I could. But if I would have wrecked, I would have made the race. So
I'd like to thank your teammates personally.
Maybe I should be thanking them. I don't know, but yeah, it's a whole different scenario where you can just sit here all day and kind of get into a rhythm and just do qualifying session after qualifying session, where in Open Wheels you make a run and you have to wait for quite a few people to get your chance again, and hopefully you don't mess it up, and if you do, then you might not be in the race. So
yeah, the question often with things like Porsche Esports Super Cup, eNASCAR, Coca-Cola, iRacing Series is how many hours of practice do you do per round? I guess the real question is here, and I don't know if Connor and Phil are going to be honest in admitting how many qualifying sessions you've done this week.
I'd love to know, Arjuna. I have not tracked though.
No?
I can't even tell you how many hours of practice I've done because I started logging VRS too late.
Probably like 12.
That's not
12,
that many.
13. No.
Ask Michele how many he's
I've
done.
definitely done more than that.
When
Like
you have to
I
go
haven't kept
outside
count. I
and-
know I've done more than 12.
When you have to go outside and work and stuff like
Outside?
that, kind of gets in the way. Yeah, I know.
Work?
What's
What is
outside?
grass? The
What
only
is
grass I know is the grass in the corners at Indy.
Just a preview of who is entering into this qualifying session that we are jumping into here on RaceSpotTV. Of course, we talked to Alexander Russell, but of Team i5G, not just Brandon Traynor, Brendan Lichtenberg, but AJ Burden, Christian Steele. I see Hamilton Akabuwizi, Jacob Oster, Michele Costantini. Now, of course, switching over to Kawanda Esports. And then I see a handful more as well, but my iRacing has just switched screens, and so the previewed names no longer there. So, Connor,
Yes. Hi.
since you're commentating on the run for us, do you want to wait a little bit and go out, or do you want to?
Yeah, we're gonna wait a little bit. We can take a quick look at how some of the other guys are doing, and then we'll go.
So I tell you what.
Why do you want to wait? Why don't you just go?
Oh, listen.
What are you scared of?
I'm not scared of anything.
We go.
I'm
What
in
are you
the
waiting
show.
for? Let's go.
So, hey, Traino, I see you sitting on pit lane. Why don't you go?
Why don't you go, bud?
I have an itch in my right foot that's kind of got my foot stuck at the
So
moment.
do I. I'm stuck at 6th throttle percent. I need to figure out why that is.
Your guys' foots are itchy too?
I
Yeah.
know. I gotta
Man, there's a disease going
Where-
on in
where's-
the community.
where's my crew guy to fix my 6% throttle hang? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there's something
Maybe-
wrong with the car.
Maybe he'll fix it in approximately 3 minutes.
Like,
2-3 minutes.
I don't see any crew guys around. I might need to back up into the pit box to get them to help.
Wait, hold on. Well, we can't do that. Hold on.
Hey, let's not get anyone
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
suspended
whoa, whoa,
before the
whoa,
big
whoa,
day,
whoa.
guys. Let's not do that.
What, you don't want to back up and get a drink of water before you go out? I'm feeling kind of dehydrated.
Yeah, I left my drink bottle over on the pit wall.
Hashtag content.
I think my second pit stall is a little too far back to get into, so I'm kind
Yeah,
of
I
stuck
think
here.
I'm in the. Looks like I'm in the 10th pit stall. Not great.
I'm looking like I'm in the 3rd, so it's a bit far.
Well, I'm officially now ready to go in the session. So whenever anyone wants to go, floor's yours.
All right.
Hunter didn't sound very excited to go
No,
there.
he did not sound
No,
excited at all.
Okay, I'm okay. I mean, truthfully, like I think I said at the beginning of the week, I said I was probably gonna be like 300ths behind Phil, and that's probably where I'm at. Truthfully, and I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
You're still in a relatively decent spot in the qualifying order, so I think that's maybe the more important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm not, the guys down in 35th or 36th trying to scramble. I mean, I know the fixed race is nice to make and to
That's
do
a
the double.
good question to ask.
But I'm happy I don't have to do that for this one, because this is
Yeah, we
definitely
should
Arjuna.
find
one.
somebody who's like P35 and
Arjuna,
ask them
what
what they're doing.
position do you think it'll be? The last person who
Ooh,
makes
that's
the
a good
broadcast
point.
top split.
So I know there's at least 4
Who?
people in that top list that aren't going to be there. At
Or
least.
I only knew
There's
2.
4. I only knew 2.
Well, Blocker.
Yep.
Yeah, Blocker and
Trano.
Trano.
Blocker and Trano.
I don't think AJ Burden's going to race.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Now, he may decide to race, but he didn't seem like he was going to when I chatted with him over the weekend, so he's a maybe. And there's at least one more who I'm now forgetting.
See, Arjuna, I'd say I agree with you, but whenever someone says maybe, I was saying this to Trano yesterday.
Yeah,
if you
it's
have
Indy.
to think about it, you are racing.
You're racing, yeah. No, okay, sorry. It's just 3. It's just 3. It's not 4.
So maybe 36, depending on entries.
Maybe.
All right. Oh, okay. All right.
I think it could maybe be 37th.
The guys have.
I don't know if Romanitis is going to race.
Ooh, that's a good point.
The guys have figured out my throttle issue, so we're good here.
You're going?
We're going.
All right. We are seeing Nate Stewart, one of a handful of drivers, finishing up their first lap. But Connor Harrington off and away on pit lane. Talk us through the run.
Yeah. So here, just mentally preparing yourself for honestly the best 2 minutes in sports. It doesn't get much better than that. Pick your acceleration point and go ahead and send it. Just trying to make sure you hit all your shifts in the right order. You just pick your turning spot, get your tools in the right spot for the warm-up lap. And you got this whole long straightaway to think about all the issues you've just had and trying to make a good first turn. Little slidey there, not great. A little too low. Not the best first lap, but it'll do. You never know. It's just trying to stay loose and not move the wheel too much, and just remember what you want to do with your tools as you go in. And obviously you're just trying to protect that right rear as much as possible. That seems to be the real limiting factor. Here comes probably the most terrifying part for a lot of people is lap 4 and trying to hang on to it for one more lap. Not looking like it's tracking like to be the best run, but you never know. And obviously right here, your right rear is just screaming for any sort of help. Trying not to slide it too much. And that's 4 okay laps for Q. Not the best average, not a great run, but 244. You know, we're trying a couple things here to get the right rear to stay alive a little bit more, but gain a little bit more speed. But not a terrible run. You know, for qualifying. So that's 4 laps of Indy for you.
I felt the pressure. Thanks for that, Connor. That was really fun. Now, we'll see where everyone else is stacked up. Brandon Trainer, 209 average. Michele Costantini just couldn't stop himself. It's a 193. He's found 3/1000ths of a second, but over 4 laps, 16 corners, that is a lot. Boy, Brandon, tell us, how quick did you think that time could be with one more run still left to go?
Sadly, Brandon's hiding from me right now, Arjuna.
Oh, look at him, hiding away. Phil, what do you think about that time? You've just done what, a 2:12?
Yeah, I know I had a messy lap just driving through it. I made a big mistake on lap 3, and that any chance at a hopeful lap 4, like, my lap 1 and 2 weren't amazing either. I'm gonna blame Connor's talking because I didn't mute.
That's your fault.
That's your problem, buddy.
I know it's my problem, but yeah, no, it was a pretty messy run for me. But I know my PB just in testing, I can't match Michele's time that he just did. So I'm gonna say preemptively good job to him on full, but we're gonna full send it in the next session, and we'll see. I don't have high hopes though.
I do want to give a quick shout out though to Dan Ziegers, who just put up a massive heater of a 39.252, and that is
got him because he was under the bump.
That is well in the show, so that's some late drama there. That pushes out looks like Rodrigo Franzoni from the top 33 at least.
Hildegard's going to be pretty close too.
I'm now just
I was watching Kevin Burrell drive IIS before this, and I saw Christian Hildegard racing, and he was not in the top 33. I was a little confused, Arjuna.
Well, I just wonder, Satellite Racing have gone off and worked on that setup and clearly have been able to dial it in. I'll just wait for, on my end, all of these times on what we see on the left to be represented on the official iRacing times, because that is that the fastest 4-lap average we've ever had in the iRacing Indy 500?
No.
I know?
I have no idea.
What is the fastest? Come, someone tell me some history.
It is Young O's in 2020.
What was that one?
38.970.
That's right, we had 38.9s in 2020. That's crazy. Let's bring in, we've talked to plenty, let's talk to some more. This party's getting busy. Brendan Lichtenberg's here, Matt Pavelski here, the sunglasses dueling duo, however you want to put that. How was your qualifying run, guys? Brendan, we'll start with you. Are you feeling hot in your suit?
No, honestly, I mean, like I told you at the house last week, like when you're in like a judo gi and you're in a hot dojo, like this is nothing to me. So, unfortunately, I'm pretty cool, but my car is not. The tires just start blowing up lap 3, and I was doing a really good run. So, kind of story of my day. So, figure why not just as a gentleman and whatever happens last 2 runs. Just whatever happens, I'll take whatever I can get, but I don't think I'm going to get too much.
Be a gentleman. That's a philosophy for a racing driver if I've ever heard one. Now, Matt, hashtag FMR, how are you feeling? Shades on, ready to go?
I mean, first of all, hashtag FMR. I was telling Chris in the win here, I think
boo.
I think I've been trashing qualifying since I was 8 years old. So, being the caboose of a lot of the I5G guys isn't entirely Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Why are you saying Pigeon Dr. Matt, Brandon?
That's Brandon. I think.
Hi, Brandon.
We got a party in here. It's a full house.
Well,
That's a massive. Damn.
anyway, what's going on? What are we worried about?
Nothing. You're all good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically, where was I? I was just kind of behind on the adjustments and just kind of made a bad run. Not really much more else to it. I mean, you try. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. That's what it is.
That's just the speedway, isn't it? Now, this is getting very, very busy. So what I am going to do, unfortunately, is I'm going to drag a few people out, and I'm going to drag plenty more people back into the broadcast booth.
How did you do that? That was impressive.
Oh, I'm Magic. Arjuna Magic Hands behind the wheel here.
I feel special that you didn't move me.
Oh, I mean,
Everybody's going to be so mad.
I know, but Brandon, you're here. You're a special guest, right? Because we know, again, unfortunately, we're not going to see you tomorrow. So
That's twice now you brought that
yes,
up.
but I have to mention it for the people
Do
that
we
have just
have a
joined
problem
us.
here? Do
No,
we have a problem here?
Trainer, the only problem is that I didn't get to see you last weekend.
That's fair. I have
Anyway.
family issues.
Christopher Demerit comes to join us in the broadcast booth, the destroyer of the outside line. Chris, how are you feeling right now? One more session left to go in qualifying.
we're feeling solidly okay. I've given up on open qualifying, and I thought I gave up on fixed qualifying, but now I'm going to go again. So we'll see
You're
how it
going
goes.
again? Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you sit right now in fix it qualifying?
I'm like 24th or something.
All right, and where do we think we can get to?
I don't know, like 13th.
Oh, okay, you've got some optimism here.
Apparently, I did one run and I finally did a PB by a hundredth of a second, so I have no idea where that came from. But
Just
yeah,
be that way sometimes, though.
I really do.
Updated fixed times are now up on your screen. So Christopher Demerit is 36 thousandths of a second off of Hamilton Akabuizi. Now, if this was open qualifying, you'd have the same setup, but it's not. How much, Chris, can you talk to each other? And, you know, in-car tools are still something that you can work with. How much can you help one another?
I mean, we've helped each other all we can. We have half of i5G who thinks the fixed setup drives amazing, and half of the i5G thinks it's the worst setup ever. So
Yeah, we've had legitimate arguments over
there's
this.
like
Civil war.
there's skill issues happening. It's not tools.
Skill issues. Wow, okay. So you're calling yourself out here.
Yep.
Okay, I like it. Brandon, which side? I think we know which side of the face of the argument you fall here. Let's talk about open qualifying.
hang on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm getting ready to change my opinion because
Okay.
I have been running absolutely horrible the last, 3 sessions. And I have no idea why.
Okay.
I'm like 300ths off every lap that I've ever done.
Welcome to my world, bud.
Yeah.
So you're
I'm
you
back
don't
here
like
with
the
the
setup
slums.
anymore. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Chris, how important, I think a couple of people have been saying cold conditions expected for fixed 500. So is starting back in 24th really that much of an issue, or are you more trying to get yourself out of the danger zone?
Yeah, it's getting out of the danger zone and just getting a head start on trying to drive through the field. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I have not driven any laps on the fixed race set yet, so I have no idea what it handles like. But if you're closer to the front, that can't be a bad thing.
Awesome, and I've just realized, by the way, that you have started sending us your webcam. So thank you for that. You can give us all a wave.
Am I gonna get bullied again on?
Are you
video?
going to drive with your arms out?
I don't know what else to do, Arjuna.
I tell you what, I can't bully you because you went out of your way to drop me at an airport, so I'm not allowed to bully you today.
Oh, true.
Sunday, Saturday, whole different story though, okay?
All right, bet.
Bet. How was your experience at Indy, by the way? You were there for the rain delay. How much fun did you have hanging out in a car trying to escape the rain?
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought we were gonna get worse rain than we did, but I'm glad they got the race in on Sunday. Yeah, getting home was awful. Thank goodness we followed that random Mustang, because otherwise we think we would have been stuck in that lot 1C for another 2 or 3 hours before we actually got going anywhere. So
Hashtag we
everything
found the
else
shortcut.
is pretty good. We really did.
We'll let you go off and focus on fixed qualifying since it sounds like you're actually trying to improve. But best of luck for the weekend ahead, Chris. Great to be back at the Speedway.
Yeah, thank you. Also, hashtag FMR.
Hashtag FMR. Don't worry. That is a constant refrain here on RaceSpotTV. Let's bring in Let's do it together. Jason
Like
Brophy
225.
and Robert Malechko, who are
Oh,
happily gabbing away and yapping away in our waiting room with the rest of
Indeed.
the drivers. Rob, we'll start with you. How are you feeling right now? End of qualifying week and ready to go racing almost. You're what, 7th in the fixed running, 6th I think in open, so top 10 across the board.
Yeah, it's been a good week for me. I kind of disappointed in my opener laps. I just really haven't put it together yet. There's definitely at least a low 1 or low 2 in that, maybe a very high 1. But I just keep cracking under pressure. But happy to start top 7 in both races and definitely have a good shot at winning both.
Are we going to see you go for a couple more YOLO runs to try and find the thousandths of a second you need to get to the front? Is that even possible with the setup you have for open?
Maybe for open. I mean, right now I'm practicing fixed because I would like to improve a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, the fixed setup is a beast to drive. It's very difficult, but yeah, for open, we'll see. I mean, gotta be pretty perfect with how you're driving right now, and I think everyone's kind of mentally cooked after the long week we've all had.
Yeah, and you've still got to, after this qualifying malarkey is done in the books, you've got to go and figure out race setup. Jason,
Or Indy.
Jason Brophy, now Phil Krause and Connor Harrington was saying that race setup's feeling a little bit better. How are you feeling about the race setup, since I know you're usually the one tweaking the dials to make the car go fast? You're also sitting pretty well up in that open qualifying. How's the race car feeling?
There's a race?
Yes, I don't know if you know that. There's one tonight, tomorrow, Sunday.
Oh man, I thought this was just all Q.
Aw.
No, we at least have a car that can drive. Earlier this month that wasn't really a thing. So I can follow. Don't know that we're going to be the best car. It's cold enough we can be. If you get the right track position, but not the best this time. I mean, I kind of accepted that. Phil and I beat our heads against the wall for way too many hours on the race set. To get it to where at least it's drivable, raceable, but we know if it gets too hot, we're probably a little off. We're better than we have been for the last couple of years, I think. Outside open wheels, we're pretty decent in traffic, just zero pace. We'll at least be able to race. A lot of cars around us. We'll see. A lot of fast cars. We'll see what we do. I tend to like to get comfortable in these races anyway. So, but yeah, 200 laps, long race.
Let's talk iRacing weather system, because even though we don't have rain, right, it still impacts how the weather shakes up and plays on out. What are we expecting tomorrow? I mean, a couple of people alluding to cooler conditions at the start, maybe warming up after that. What ranges are we really thinking that we may end up hitting?
I expect to be pretty hot. We had a few IIS races that pretty well approximated it. Yeah, they got real toasty. Some of the stuff I've seen it generate as high as 75 to start.
Ooh.
IS started typically around there, but then it was at 11 o'clock, so the ambient temperature raised a lot more in that race. I don't know that we'll necessarily see that. I think this session started at 12:30. Low humidity, so that helps kind of carry more speed. Gonna put more energy in the tires to compensate for cool ambient, keep it colder. So we might even in Q we kind of saw that is where what you could get away with in a higher humidity. The tire's not taking any temp. You just had to do some stuff. You set in this humidity. I expect the race that to kind of be the same way. You're gonna be taxing the tires quite a bit, especially following in a draft.
I'll ask the question: how many Q runs this week, Jason?
I've only done like 3 or 4 fixed ones, I think. So
how many open? Come on.
Are we talking official open ones? Probably 15, 20, I think. I haven't had much reason to try. I'm clearly not as good or close this year, although I think I'm only, 0.18. It's 0.018 from me to Phil. Last time when I was 4th, it was 0.014. There's a lot of people got a lot better. Or maybe I got worse.
How many runs for you, Rob?
Fixed. I sweated pretty hard the first few days and fixed, probably 7 to 8, and then open's probably maybe around 10 to 12. So probably looking 16 to 18.
Madness. We'll let you guys go off and focus. I'm assuming Rob's going to be going for a run in the fix session, but thanks for jumping in, guys, and best of luck for the runs you've still got ahead.
Yep, thanks for doing it.
Still have Brandon Traino here in the broadcast booth with us, but we'll bring in his Team I5G counterpart, Michele Costantini now. Michele, wow, what a run. How are you feeling?
I am feeling good, honestly. I was not really happy with the 195 before because it was one lap was pretty bad. This one was all good laps, no mistakes. Not perfect, but good enough, I think. So we hope and pray.
We hope and pray indeed. You're also, what, 7 thousandths off in fixed qualifying? Are you going to try and go for one more glory run there in, what, 5-10 minutes time?
I don't think so, because I've done fixed only for the first day. Yeah, it was just to get a bit used to the track and all, but yeah, no, I'm not doing fixed. One qualifying week for one race is plenty enough.
Disappointing. Are you going to try and do both days, though? Are you going to try and do the open on Saturday, the fixed on Sunday? Come on.
I don't think I'm gonna do fixed because I might be occupied at night, but I'll definitely do the open one. You know, you can try and convince me to do the fixed.
How do I convince you? Come on, Michele, come and do it.
I'll think about it.
So, okay, here's how I'll convince you. I'm looking through the list of names right now, and open, don't get me wrong, that's got all the usual suspects. Fix has got some people that you would never fought before. I see a Gustavo Ariel in there. I see a Casey Kerwin, Vasilius Belitsiotis.
That's actually true. It's the good thing about fixed. It's that there's a lot of people, like a lot of good people from road, a lot of good people from oval, from different categories. A lot of, as you said, like good GT drivers that I see most of the time in road races, but I've never actually raced in the same class as them because I'm usually doing prototypes. So looking at it in that regard, it would actually be quite a bit of fun.
There you go. I found another one. And Alessandro Pico's in 8th. So he's actually managed to qualify quite well, which is quite impressive. Let's talk about, the new team for you very quickly. VRS Kawanda, purple and orange. How are you feeling in your new colors? Heading off into iRacing Indy 500, but everything else that is coming over the rest of the year.
Really good, honestly. We have just started together, but it's been really good recently. All the guys are very nice, and they're all hardworking already. Could already see it in the first week or two, working with them and seeing how they operate, and it's it's a nice environment. So I'm really happy to be a part of that, and happy to see and curious to see what we'll do together in the future.
We'll let you go off, Michele. Best of luck for the weekend. What a qualifying run it was. Not sure if anyone's going to ever beat that this week.
Thank you, Juna. Bye-bye.
So Michele Costantini leaves us. Still got Brandon Traino here with us in the broadcast booth. At least I think so. Brandon, do we
Hello.
There you go. How's it going?
I'm watching Time and Jesky qualify right now.
Ooh, how's it going?
Well, he's almost 4/10 up on Corey Heim. Well, he's on the pole right now.
There you go. Of course, as mentioned, Brandon Traino going to be pitting for Ty Majeski tomorrow, so you can cheer him on, and Ty as well. That's a...
the only thing that would make me feel better about missing this race is him winning.
There you go. That's okay. That's the way we got to phrase it.
And we should have had like 3 wins already this year. Like Darlington, man, that one sucked. We had a 6-second lead until somebody blew a tire, and then Ross Chastain and his Cup experience just had to take us to school on a restart.
It sometimes be that way, though.
Las Vegas, he sped coming onto pit road during green flag pit stop. He probably could have won that one too. Martinsville, there was like 7 cautions, so our tire advantage went away.
Racing's tough, isn't it?
It really is.
And that's the thing that sometimes, especially when it comes to like Indy in particular, let's be honest, you're not sometimes going to have Jason Brophy said it, if it got warm, he's not feeling like he's got a car that's capable of winning, right? So then your mindset, as much as it sucks, does kind of have to change, right? You have to go from, right, I want to win the race to, right, if I get 5th position, that would be like winning for me. Or really worst case scenario, Brandon, it's let me try and get to 10th. That would be like a win.
Yeah, it sometimes got to temper your expectations depending on, where you qualify, knowing if you're in the back, you're going to have a very long race trying to get to the front, and it's really kind of just what can you salvage or switch and flip up the strategy and get some really good track position and or catch a good timely caution. Like some of these guys in the back for sure have better race setups than qualifying setups. Like qualifying at Indy, these 4-lap averages, there's a lot of driver in it, but there is some, little bit of black magic in the setups. So some of those guys in the back do have much better race setups. So if they can get a good timed caution and flip, some good track position, they could definitely be towards the front and be competitive.
Those times on the left are the updated open qualifying times from what we can tell. So Michele Costantini's 39.193 now officially stands as 5 thousandths faster than Brandon Traino. And the margin between the 33 fast times right now sits at 78 thousandths. Realistically, we're probably looking at those inside of the top 37 feeling like they have a chance of making the show. Remember, the 33 fastest drivers that register are the ones that will make the field. There is the top 33 and then a couple of others in the fixed qualifying. And Brandon, it's crazy to me to see that in the fixed qualifying, we got 33 drivers within 41 thousandths of a second, which, it's tighter margins. You'd expect that because it's a fixed setup, but that is quite crazy because I'm sure every run that some of these drivers are doing, they are probably being, a hundredth, a thousandth off of their fastest time and not really improving.
Yeah, I don't know what the standings are, but I'm sure there's like 2 or 3 groups of people who have probably the same identical 4-lap average, and if they gain 2 thousandths, they move up like 7 spots. It's insanely close how much this fixed setup is this year. And you obviously expect that from a fixed setup, and having the chance to just do multiple runs and never having the penalty like open wheels where you lose your time. Just being able to go over and over again really allows you to focus in on what you need from the tools and your line and your car, and really just kind of focus on. Sorry, I'm trying to focus.
Oh, we see you driving.
I'm not doing so good. Hamilton told me what his lap 4 is, and I've got like 300s to find, so.
Are you going to talk us through this fixed run? What do you want to do? Do you want to go full focus and we leave you be to focus on it?
We can talk through it, but I might not talk too much.
Okay, what I'll do is you can either mute yourself, I can throw you into a mute room where no one can disturb you.
Okay.
We'll let you go full attack on this fixed run because you're going in relatively cool. ARB and weight jack are something you can change, of course, in the fixed setup. It's fixed setup. It's not fixed in-car adjustment. How many adjustments are you making, Brandon, over the course of every... Are you making changes in every corner is basically what I'm asking.
Oh, no.
No?
I don't think I registered for qualifying.
Uh-oh. Well...
Well, crap.
We'll get Brandon Traino going for the final open session, potentially, but...
that is unfortunate.
It do be that way sometimes, though.
It do be that way. Well, I'll be on the spotter stand.
So what? Okay, don't tell us what Hamilton's lap 4 was, but so his current 4-lap average is what? It is 39.470. Do you think there's much more in that, or is that pretty maxed out?
From what he told us, it's pretty much maxed out. He's got a really impressive lap 1, and we're not really sure what he did. Whether he's hiding stuff from us, we don't know. I think he is. He seems kind of sneaky. But it's still impressive either way.
Yeah, it's such a again, it's a fixed setup, right? So there's only so much that you can do. We made our jokes a little bit about going into pit stalls and all of that as well slightly earlier, but again, everyone's so finely matched here. I'm looking at the leaderboard right now, Traino. I see Romaninas and Berryman are tied on the same 4-lap average for 4th position. I see Biko and McEwen tied for 8th position. Pinheiro and Trost tied for 11th. Then you go down a little bit more, and then you have 3 drivers tied for 21st, 3 drivers tied for 26th, 4 drivers tied for 35th.
Yeah, like I said, those guys find 2 thousandths, they jump up 5-6 spots. It's cool, but it's also stressful because they know that they can probably do it, and it's just obviously the last session here, so they can really get kind of in their heads. I know for a while when I first started doing testing, I would actually take like a pretty deep breath every single straightaway I got onto to kind of slow the heart rate down. I still do that because, you know, in the open wheels with the whole situation there, it's pretty stressful. Like even for, you know, guys like me and Phil who are really experienced, it's still stressful. It still gets your heart rate up knowing that one wall tap kills, you know, half a tenth in a lap, and that puts you, you know, 14, 15 spots down where, you know, situation like this where you're Connor Harrington, who, according to your sheet, looks like P34.
Yes, sir.
Needs 1,000th, right? Probably 2,000th, depending on how iRacing scores it. And he knows that he can do it. I'd be willing to bet he knows he's got 2,000 or 3,000ths in it. It's just now he's in the very last session. He's got to do 4 good laps, and it's literally all down to this, whether or not he makes the race.
So we have plenty of drivers out on track. It's Dylan Alt that's the first, though, to cross the yard of bricks and to get his 4-lap run underway. The eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver for Latar Esports makes his way down that back straightaway. And, you know, Connor was mentioning it when we were listening to him talk through a run. It's all about tire temperatures, in particular, right rear, the one that often comes under the most abuse. And so whatever you can do to try and just preserve it over the course of the 16 corners, very, very important. Now, if your first lap's already above a 39.5, you're not really going to be expecting to be able to run your way too far forward. That first lap for Dylan Alt, 39.425. Runs up high, though. That's the run done in a blink of an eye. So easy to make that small mistake, and no better than 15th will Dylan Alt line up for his iRacing Indy 500 fixed. Diogo Pinto is just left pit lane as well, so we've got some of the bigger drivers maybe holding off. What's the advantage, Traino, of waiting in pit lane before you go out there for the run?
There are some cheeky little fuel burning, we'll call it that, fuel burning strategies that you can do to get some of the weight out of the car. Some of these guys will go pretty slow on the access road as well. To prep their tires, yeah, we'll call it that too. And it does do quite a lot to your lap times. It's those little things that, you know, a lot of the pro drivers from, say, NASCAR or, you know, the PESC series don't know about until they get onto a team or an alliance like we have with Apex, where we can tell them all those little secrets, and they pick up, you know, 300-400s easily because, you know, they've burned that little fuel and they've prepped their tires. You know, it's all those little things that add up to, you know, the overall speed.
And those little things that maybe, again, Hamilton Akabuizi has just been able to perfect, right, to master those little details. There's Christopher Demerit in the blue and yellow i5G machine, the 144 flying out through turn 4 to end lap 2. Now, Michael Romanidis did a 39.461, so a bit of a benchmark. Demerit with a 4.77, so maybe slightly off where he'd want to be. Alessandro Bico, in comparison, in one of the Williams Esports cars. You see him heading out right now onto the pit straight. It's about to finish up what will be his 4th lap. 39.470 lap 2, 5.29 lap 3. So not too bad, and now he will be what will be one of the first drivers to put their final run down onto the board. Jose Soria out on track as well. Chris Van der Ness, Aaron Vasquez, and plenty more, but the likes of Daniel Ferguson, Lucas Lindqvist, Brendan Lichtenberg, and Casey Kerwin just beginning their run. So a couple of drivers, as we mentioned, just waiting that a little bit longer before they roll on out there, with now less than 3 minutes left in this session to go out there and set your time. Again, we'll see the first times onto the board in this final fixed running. 39.470 to beat. For Luke Peters, it's going to be a 39.519. Michael Romanidis has a 4.81, and Alessandro Bico does a 4.94. So next up in terms of fast drivers is going to be Christopher Demerit. The Team i5G 144 flies its way out of turn 4. And if you would be there in real life, you'd hear the car rumbling over the yard of bricks. Instead, we just sit from afar and wait to see the time. Top left of the screen, it's a 5.04 for Demerit. Is a relative, I think, improvement for him for where he was before, but no more improvement from there, as everyone else now will be left to complete their runs. Here's Jason Brophy, who, quite remarkably, Brandon, is just starting his 2nd lap of the 4-lap run.
I don't know how much time's left in the session, but he might want to get going.
2:30.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time.
Just
He
enough.
must have been doing a lot of fuel burning.
First lap not great by any means, by the way, 39.464, so have to wait and see how it falls off for him. Aaron Vasquez, the Drago Racing number 8, is a, well, identical time to Zeke Willis, but down into 5th for him. Caden Rush jumps in front of them. Ara Lettinen and Luke Peters also identical times. Diogo Pinto's just done a 5.10. Where does his Brazilian teammate Gustavo Ariel place himself? Now, Gustavo has already done a 5.05, so Diogo Pinto slightly off of that. But can the Brazilian find those little bit of margins that he needs here at the Speedway? The answer is yes. Does a 500 flat. And that will jump him up into, I think, the top 15, if not the top 20. So nice little improvement for him. But now some of the IndyCar regulars still yet to go. Cantelli, Luke McEwen, Adriano Pinheiro crashed out on their run. So it's very easy with this setup, Brandon, to just push that little bit too far.
Yeah, like I found out pretty quickly the first session I ran, it's really pointy. So if you aggressively turn into the corner, it's probably going to spin. But, you know, the key to Indy is always not trying to put a lot of steering wheel angle into it to scrub the speed. So a lot of these guys are probably opening the wheel up as soon as they can. And in doing that, you're going to naturally come towards the wall. And, you know, it's very, very easy trying to find all this speed to just barely scrape the wall. And any X in qualifying, if you don't know, is the run over. Doesn't count any more laps.
Sorry, I just watched
Who was it?
Rob Malechka absolutely murder himself across the line. There is no way that car and driver survived. Now, Hamilton and Carbawidi doesn't improve. Michele Costantini also does not improve, so they will stay where they are, first and second on the board respectively. Can tell you that's a big run from Connor Harrington to make himself more comfortably into the field. Jason Brophy's just done a 5.21, so no improvement for him. That's about 200 off. Rodrigo Franzoni's been able to find a 4.96 though. Finds himself no improvement, but it's another consistent run. And so I think that is officially this session done and dusted as Brendan Lichtenberg crosses the line down in 20th in this respective grouping of qualifying drivers. Phil Kraus, Rob Malechka, Luke McEwen, Adriano Pinheiro, Jacob Oster, Sander Nyhoff, Dylan Alt, Casey Kerwin, Jose Soria, Jaden Munoz, and Daniel Ferguson. Brandon, all of those drivers do not set times.
Yeah, so were any of them on the outside looking in that you know of?
I tell you what, I'll drop that graphic. I'll pop back up the one that shows the times before they came in. Daniel Ferguson was in 35th, so he's, you know, uncomfortable. I think everyone else is probably feeling okay, though. Caden Rush, for example, was in 31st. Not sure if he improved, but wow. I'm feeling stressed just watching, Brandon. How are you feeling?
Well, I didn't register for this, so I feel perfectly fine, to be honest.
Hashtag blame Trano.
Yeah, no, hashtag blame,
come on.
Who can we blame
Who are we
today?
blaming here? Mike Reynolds.
Yeah, blame Mike Reynolds.
Yes, hashtag FMR. That's what we're going with. There's a great look back at the run out of Turn 2 into Turn 3, down at the north east end at the Speedway. What is the most difficult corner in qualifying, Brandon? Tell us, in your mind, what it is.
Oh, that's
a hard one.
Good question. Well, what lap number are we talking about?
What corner? What lap and what corner? I'll give
lap
you.
4, turn 3.
So we're talking lap 4, turn 3.
Yes, lap 4, turn 3. At least for us, is like make or break. If you go a little bit too far under the white line, the right rear is going to step out, and you've killed all your speed from there on to the end of the lap. For the longest time, it used to be turn 2. Everybody would go into turn 2, and you basically pray. That was the running joke of qualifying, because if you got out of turn 2, for whatever reason, 3 and 4 was fine. But for at least this year, and maybe last year, if I remember right, actually we didn't run last year, 2 years ago, it's been like turn 3 is kind of pushed off where the car tries to kill you in the run.
We have brought in Connor Harrington. Connor, how are you feeling about that run? You made the show by some margin as well.
Yeah, we finally decided to pull our rabbit out of the hat there. Yeah, I mean, just a good solid run and nice to put a good lap one together. So yeah, just nice to make the show. I guess the potential double could be on depending on how we feel, but yeah, just a good solid run there just to make sure we put it in the show.
I want to see 1,000 virtual miles out of you, Connor. How about this though? We've got one more qualifying session to go. I've got to ask the question as well because I asked about race setups earlier. Are you going to do the race in a little bit of time? Of course, there's an open setup race that kicks off in about, an hour and a half's time. Are you going to be doing that to warm up, or is it now just full focus on the practice and getting the rhythm in for tomorrow?
Yeah, we got to see what we're going to do. We might we might run it. We might use it as kind of a spectator type test session to have some cars to use. We're not really sure which direction we're going to go. I mean, we have a couple of candidates for a pretty good race set. We just got to kind of decide which direction we want to go, and I think having some guys in some different setups and downforce levels and stuff like that might be good, because we really don't know what the weather's going to be. I mean, in years past, it's always been 78, partly cloudy with a 2-mile-an-hour wind out of the north, and Tightest has made it a little different. Hopefully, nobody gets the dreaded Tightest crash on Saturday, but we'll see what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a quick discussion and see what who's gonna run what setups and if we're gonna run at all. So,
well, I'll let you go off and have that discussion. Best of luck for the weekend ahead. Great qualifying runs and still potentially one more to come.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And as always, it's great to be back on broadcast racing. God, how good is that to be back?
Oh, it is great. Connor Harrington jumps into the chat. Who should we bug next? I'm
trying to bully Hamilton into getting in here because you obviously want to interview the pollster, but he doesn't want to.
Okay, I will start bullying him as well, is what I will do. In the meantime, let's bring in
Yay,
Rob
peer
Malechka. Rob, what did he do in that qualifying run?
I had a tire failure.
Okay, that's what we're saying?
Yeah.
Hard into the inside wall.
Actually, a classic headset failure,
Headset failure? You race in VR now?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. We're making up excuses as we go along. Still, though, sitting up in the top 10, how was the run going until you blew that tire?
Awful. The setup sucks.
Okay. Next question. How's the race setup?
The fixed one?
Yes.
Probably also sucks.
I had to. I knew I was going to get the same answer. Rob, I was going to keep asking you some questions, but
okay.
You threw me off with your answer. So what we're going to do is throw you down back to the waiting room and, bring in Hamilton Akabueezy, who is on pole position for the iRacing Indy Fixed 500. Hamilton, congratulations on a blistering 4-lap run. Still got some work to do, though, I'm guessing, in the open race and setup work to come, and of course then the fixed race. But how does it feel at the end of the qualifying grind to be sat with the number 1 next to your name?
I mean, that feels pretty good for sure, especially obviously got a lot of experience in this car, but this is my first year with the 500, so this is obviously really, really cool. Like the official 500, of course, so that's awesome, and feels really good. Looking forward to that race Sunday. Just still wish I could have done better in open, and I'll try this next session, but we'll see what can happen. But yeah, I'm really happy with it.
I like how you say you're going to try better, you wish you could have done more, and you're sat in 4th.
I mean, look,
Come
I know
on!
I predicted I'd be like 8th, but once I saw the times, how close I was like, I feel like I could do better, but yeah.
Wow.
Lap 4 is my kryptonite.
Okay, so we're having this discussion with Brandon. What's the hardest corner, and on what lap is it the hardest corner?
Probably turn 3. I'd go at turn 3 for me.
On what lap?
Lap 4. But
Thank
lap
you.
4
See,
is
I told
all
you.
of the corners. It's but yeah, like turn 3 is bad.
And we talk so much, right, about being in front of your in-car tools, the ARB, the weight jacker. Describe, Hamilton, what it's like when you're behind on the in-car tools, what it feels like behind the wheel, what's happening when you're trying to make the car do what you need it to.
Really just praying the car doesn't slide. That's pretty much it. Just going with whatever I think will be best on that run, how it feels, just hoping it doesn't slide.
Well, you managed to figure out in the fix session. You've still apparently got some work to do in about 12 minutes time when we go for that final open qualifying run. But Hamilton, what an electric qualifying week it's been. It's only Fast Friday. The business is still at hand. Best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to see how it all goes for you and Team i5G.
Thank you.
That was Hamilton Akabueezy joining us in the broadcast booth. Peer pressure works there, Brandon, you see?
It did.
Who should we chat to next? So we've got 12 minutes before the next session.
Who haven't we talked to?
Everyone in that waiting room we've talked to, with the exception of AJ Burden, who did also at one point have next to his name, don't bring me in. I've got a bad microphone.
You should talk to him because he is going to be on the box for the entire team.
I hope that means that if he's on... See, if he's on the box, does that mean that naturally he's got to have a bad microphone? Let's find out. AJ Burden joins us now in the broadcast booth. AJ, do you have a copy?
Can you hear me?
We got you loud. Oh, and you sound crispy clear. You don't sound like you're on a radio like a traditional crew chief does, or like we were listening to on the scanners this past weekend. No, you sound like you're coming over Discord, VoIP, whatever it is. AJ, decent run in qualifying, all things considered, for someone who this weekend is going to be on the box rather than behind the wheel of a race car.
Well, that's what I said last week, and the chances are that is going to be the case, but...
Are you YOLOing? Come on, AJ!
Considering I haven't done any laps for 2 years, and I've actually enjoyed it, there is a chance I might start.
YOLO! YOLO! Come on,
this
AJ!
Is news to me.
Oh, it's going to be news to everybody. I've been thinking about it all day.
Breaking news, AJ returns after a 2-year hiatus.
AJ, you've got to. Now, we've got you in the broadcast booth. We're not letting you go without convincing you to do this.
Are we peer pressuring him
Yes,
too?
absolutely.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
I mean, if everyone votes for me to race, I'll race.
Can I have a vote in this? I was in the Team i5G house.
Type 1 in the chat if you want AJ to run.
Yeah, type 1 in chat if you want AJ to run.
I'm assuming people on the bubble won't want me to run.
Right,
but...
and then type 2 is going to be everyone who's Rodrigo Franzotti, Fernando Borda, Christian Hilgard, all those people. You say it's been fun though, AJ. You know, you got to go be at the 500 for the very first time over the weekend, so you got to go and see it, albeit, let's be honest, a rain-delayed 500. As I was talking about with Matt Pavelski, that would not have been the first experience that I would have wanted many people to have of Indy. But did it kind of get you even more geared up for when you got back home and like, oh, let me go and qualify and race. It might be fun.
Oh yeah, like it was a dream come true. Like Sunday was, I think we all thought it was a stressful day. It was traumatic in places, especially with the car park at the end, but dream come true. I finally saw Indy after, 10, 15 years since I got into IndyCar. A failed attempt in 2022 when I got COVID the day before my flight.
You got stuck in Atlanta for 2 years?
Stuck in Atlanta for 2 years, yeah. So, yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it. I can't wait to go back, even with the troubles. And to be honest, yeah, having not even driven the track for 2 years.
Come on, AJ.
Not driven anything on iRacing for 2 years. I've loved doing some Q runs.
So the only problem becomes, right, if you're racing, who's crew chiefing?
We'll have to get Trainer on mic from Gateway.
Whoever wrecks out first.
Ooh.
Or that. That's normally what we do.
That's usually what happens.
Well, see, I get the logic behind it. I'm just imagining my emotions if I've just wrecked out of the Indy 500. And then I have to try and help other people. I know your teammates, man, that's rough. But it is racing. AJ, what more can we do to convince you to do it, though, before we let you go? We've got no 2s in chat, by the way. It's only 1s.
If I can get team orders from the rest of i5G that I get to win, I'll 100% do it.
Okay, I don't have that much power over the Team i5G lot, so we'll see what we can do there. But great to have you along. Before we let you go, if you don't race, crew chief mentality, what's going to be the goal with so many different team drivers up front? You and I were kind of talking about this on the weekend, right? It's so difficult when you're coordinating 4, 5, 6 cars and they're all having a chance of victory at the end. It's so hard on your perspective trying to figure out how do you help them, and then only one's going to be able to win.
Yeah, I remember it, 2 years ago when Alexis was dominating the race and we had those late yellows and it kind of fell away from her. There's gonna be people who are in the mid pack who will want a strategy to get to the front. We'll try and get them to the front. You'll have people like Michele who'll be leading for most of the race. It's hard, and it's going to be how the race goes, how the cautions fall, how the strategy falls, and luckily we've got so many good drivers that no matter what happens, I feel like we'll have people there competing for the win on the final lap.
Love the answer. Now, can I get the i5G set, qualifying set?
Don't ask me.
Well, I had to give it a try. AJ Burden, are you going for one more qualifying run?
Yeah, why not? YOLO, as you say.
21st on the board. We'll see how it goes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Oh, the peer pressure on this broadcast. Traino, it's unmatched.
It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
What else can we convince now? Well, I was going to say, can we get the Team Talent qualifying set? But, you know, that happened last year. So that's not an option. Are you going to go out for a run and open? Are you going to talk us through it?
I can absolutely talk you through it, and here's what I'm going to do to make it interesting. I'm going to take half a degree of rear wing out because I have nothing to lose, and we're going to see what happens.
Can we get the crew ready around the track? We'll have the AMR safety team positioned around all four corners of IMS. Now, how cold has this qualifying been, Traino, in comparison to previous years?
Well, 2 years ago was 127 track temp? No.
Okay.
130 maybe? I have to go look at our little virtual racing school data. It's definitely colder than what it has been. I remember 2021 was 133, which was quite interesting.
So I always love going back in time because, let's be honest, it tells you absolutely nothing because so much has changed at the end of the day. Phil Kraus is back in the broadcast booth. Phil, one more qualifying session to go. You are third on the board. Are you going to YOLO another run to try and find the 6,000s?
Of course we're going to YOLO it, Arjuna.
Let's go. Are you going to take out some rear wing as well?
Come
on, be brave. Traino's doing it.
No wicker?
I wonder if that's better than the half degree of rowing I was going to take out. I might do no wicker. Yeah, let's see what happens.
The concept of no wicker terrifies me, but if you do it, I'm doing it.
I mean, I got nothing to lose, right? I'm not even.
All right, you're taking it off.
I'm taking it off.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Oh, this has been amongst the best broadcasts we've ever had on RaceSpotTV. We've managed to convince.
You have to have the cameras ready. Probably lap 4, turn 1, because I think that's where we're both.
You're gonna make it that far? I don't know if I'm gonna make it that far.
I'm a little more hopeful. I think lap 4, turn 1 is where I'm gonna die.
Arjuna, do you know the current state of the AMR safety crew? Because we're gonna be needing.
We've sent them to all four corners of the track. We've pre-prepared.
Right,
yes, no, we before we even thought about this idea, we sent them out. Christopher Demerit has just said, by the way, that we're going to take the rear wicker off. You're all going to go slow on lap 1.
Well, how does that make sense? I'm reducing the drag. See, that's why he's not the crew chief.
Exactly.
He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
He's the engineer, though, isn't he?
He's fired.
Demerit Engines.
He hasn't done anything. Never mind. Never mind.
Moving on swiftly, we've got 5 minutes to go or so before we'll have those final qualifying runs onto the board. Left side of the screen, the current state of the open qualifying time, 78 thousandths of a second split, the 33 fastest times, although we do know at least 2 of those drivers, and maybe only 2, because we might just have convinced AJ Burden to go out and race, will be missing tomorrow, and so Rodrigo Franzoni, Fernando Borda might just actually be on the inside looking out right now. We'll see how this final session is going to go. This has been fun. I forgot how much fun it was to be back at the Speedway and just to, not be taking anything seriously. How many hours have you spent on qualifying this week, Phil? That's a better question, I think, to ask than how many runs. Because I've had a little bit of an insight into what's been going on behind the scenes of my team, what's been going on behind the scenes of your team.
Well, to sum it up, roughly, I'm not going to give you the total hours because 12 hours yesterday.
Oh. What time did he start?
Well, Jason started at 8 a.m. and he didn't go to bed till 1 a.m. his time.
Oh no!
Listen, we made sure he stayed hydrated. He had nice 5-minute breaks.
5-minute break every hour. That's what the doctor prescribes.
I wasn't on as long. I didn't get home till 5 p.m. So, I mean, I was still on until 4 a.m. my time, but Not quite a Jason Brophy shift.
Not quite a Jason Brophy shift. I tell you what, we'll let you go off. You got 3 minutes to go before that final open qualifying run. Take the wicker off. Let's see how it goes.
AMR safety crew, I'm trusting you guys.
There we go. AMR safety crew positioned around the track. Let's bring back in the glasses wearing qualifiers. Let's start with Brendan Lichtenberg, who joins us now in the broadcast booth. Brendan, how are you feeling? Got one more session to go. I think the question on both Brandon and my minds, how hot are you in that jacket right now?
I'm starting to sweat a little bit, I'm not going to lie. That bedroom always gets a little warm, so I did have to turn the fan on, so I'm starting to feel it a bit, but hey, it's just one more run. I can deal with it.
Okay, what is by your side, by the way? Book of Strategies. Open it up for us. No, not that one. The one on the floor.
5G Strategies book?
There's literally almost nothing in it. There's just kind of some memey things, so I have like a fake resume I made like for April Fools.
Send that to Team Penske. Got it.
Sure. So I was the superstar, but now I'm the hyperstar, and Trainer can tell that story. I also have a iRacing Indy 500 memory painted here. This is actually from the Friday night top split in May of 2018. The picture is titled 1 versus 8, and there's a certain Krista Merritt making its way past a track blocker, holding the white line to the checker and winning on Friday nights. So I don't actually have anything written down there. I don't think it's just so I can cover my mouth if we have to stream you. But this is our strategy guide.
Okay.
Totally.
I thought you said it was empty because there is no strategy. You just YOLO it.
I do that most of the time when I'm racing alone, honestly. I don't even know what I'm doing. That's
Gotcha.
why I got AJ Burton.
What's the other book you've got next to you? The one that you were about to go pick up?
So I had two, actually, not the ones I was thinking of, but I was reading this one during qualifying, waiting in my car. It's called The Book of the Truth Behind the Story, and there's lots of interesting tidbits there. And I don't know where I put it, but I also had a book on critical thinking, because the way people are playing wheel Tetris, I think you need a lot of critical thinking this week.
What did that say as the subline there? Did Alexander Hamilton something?
Did Alexander Hamilton say, quote, "It's merely a flesh wound, doctor," after he was shot by Aaron Burr?
Oh, what a line.
I don't think he actually said that. I don't think he said anything after he got shot.
Oh, well, I tell you what, we'll let you sweat. One more qualifying run. Best of luck, Brendan. We'll see what the no longer superstar, what the hyperstar can do.
Got 100th in it. We'll see what we can do.
And Brandon, are you going to tell us a story? When did the superstar become the hyperstar?
So, Brendan became the hyperstar in an Indy Elite race at Gateway, where he was, I think he was third on a restart with like 10 or 15 to go. And I said, Brendan, if you win this race, I would dub thee the hyperstar. And he won the damn race. And he's become the hyperstar, and it's literally become his like persona, I guess you could say. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the hyperstar. I mean, now that I know the story behind the nickname, I'm going to have to refrain from calling him the superstar, just to tease him occasionally. The hyperstar has a better ring to it than the superstar, though, if I'm being honest. You know? There's something about it.
It does. It's funny that most nicknames come from very silly situations. It was more so just to kind of bump him up because Brendan at times has I don't mean this in a bad way, but like confidence issues in certain situations, and if like, you know, me or somebody else on the team is there to kind of like, you know, pump him up or feed him lap times or tell him like, you know, he's pulling away from people, he can, you know, race with the best of them. So it was more so of like a pump up thing, and it obviously worked and has now become who he is.
And safety first in some regards, especially when you are Jacob Oster. Now, Jacob, you're not sending anything to space. Why do we need the safety goggles? Are you planning to go into the attenuator?
We'll see here. There's nothing really to gain from here. I don't know if I can go faster. I'm kind of just going to see, you know, what happens. And so I've come prepared. Yeah, I can see. These are scratched up all the hell, but I can see. So, you know, I got my lab coat on. I got my safety glasses on. I don't have a hard hat or anything, but this is the best I can do. So
you did have your spotter headphones on earlier. I was very impressed.
Yeah, that was actually very uncomfortable. Whenever you have the IEMs in with that on, you know.
Oh, you were like double. Oh wow, you were going hard for the.
Well,
the roll.
I had to listen to the engine, you know.
I mean, optional.
I mean, true. I did do a key run earlier today where I had no headphones on and I went almost as fast as my best time.
Okay. Are you getting ready to go out there and run for your final time?
We have about let's see, about 32 more degrees to go.
All right. Well, we'll let you get your 32 more degrees and 4 more laps.
32 degrees of what? What are you doing over there?
Rear wing, I'm taking it all out. They take a long time to get it all back out.
Okay, got it.
They're just kind of cranking it to the left.
Oh, well, Brandon, whenever you're ready to go racing, by the way, or qualifying, we're ready to go for your no wicker glory run.
I will let you know. My foot has another itch.
Oh, it's a 6% throttle?
I will let you know when it goes away.
Oh, you know what? I think there's everyone right now is sat right now with an itch in their leg and waiting to roll off and away. We are in, again, as mentioned, the final of our qualifying sessions. And the times on the left as they stand. Well, Michele Costantini, unlikely to be beaten, one would assume, with that 39.193. It's really about the top 33, maybe top 35. What's going to end up happening elsewhere. And we're going to have to make sure we pressure AJ Burden into racing tomorrow as well. What a fun story that would be. So first drivers are out on track. I can see Nate Stewart as well as Juha Rainer. But Matt Pavelski goes out next, slowly but surely. The drivers have managed to relieve the itch in their foot.
Yeah, you'll have that.
No, is your itch still there?
My itch is it's going away.
It's going away? Okay, cool. Matt Pavelski has just left the pit exit. Oh, wow. He's no longer in an orange Team i5G car.
Yes, he has changed his paint scheme.
He's in
I'll have
gold.
to ask him about the backstory to it.
Well, being in gold's a very bold choice, isn't it? Expectations are set high.
Well, Zach ran that gold Apex car.
That's true. And you're in a delightful red Apex machine, aren't you?
I am, in a brand new paint scheme and everything.
And you're rolling out onto track right now.
I'm a little scared about this, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't even know if I'm going to get to lap 4.
No rear wicker.
I don't have a rear wicker.
Can see the...
Alright, well, we've made it through the warm-up lap, so we'll see how this goes down the front stretch here.
Here we go. Come on, Trano.
The RPM's climbing. This might be a good idea. I don't know, we'll see. What's our tracker doing? Okay, it's going green. It's going green. We're okay. Oh, we turned in for the corner. Oh, we're skating. This was a bad idea. I regret this immediately. I am 600s down on my personal best lap 1. And we are bleeding time. Okay, this is great. But at least the car is going bird down the straightaway. Oh, we are all over the place. Why did you let me do this, Arjuna? This was a bad idea. Oh, we're wrecking.
Oh, we managed to move the cameras.
Okay, we're good.
Oh.
I have to finish the run. I have to finish.
Will Power's going to continue his run, but showed us just how difficult it can be.
Let me take all the way checker out so I don't spin again.
Oh, well, if you ever needed a visceral display of these cars being difficult, there you go. There's Matt Pavelski.
That is exactly why you don't run no wicker.
Can you imagine we made Phil do the same thing?
Yeah, we should probably go check on him, make sure he's not dead already.
He's just gone out right now, I can tell you.
Okay, well, I at least got a lap done. We'll see where he gets.
I'll keep an eye on him as soon as he crosses the line.
Well, we have finished lap 2. Lap 1 was a whopping 41.599. This was a 41.155, so we made improvements.
I have to say, by the way, I see Christopher Demerit saying it's almost like he knew what he was talking about. No one needs a told you so person here.
Okay, we hit the wall.
No,
That's unfortunate.
Trado's in trouble. Jacob Oster's in trouble as well, I think, potentially. Or maybe that's my timing screen slightly misleading me. But all
Chad has told me we have red foot damage.
Oh, no.
That is unfortunate.
All the PPE in the world I don't think is necessarily going to help you too much.
Do I commit, what is it, Sudoku?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
You should commit Sudoku at the end of the run, yes.
Well, we're starting the white flag lap, so we'll finish this one.
So remember that the fastest run across of 4 laps, 39.193. Nate Stewart has just done a 2.98. To get yourself into the show and to be safe, well, you probably need to be down into the 2.72s, maybe 2.73, somewhere in that ballpark. Matt Pavelski has just done a 2.34. That's him done for the 2024 iRacing Indy 500 qualifying sessions. And now Alexis Newsom, a driver that arguably should have been a race winner, should have left the speedway with a crown in 2022 until a caution would come out. And as Brandon Traino hits the wall,
I have no tires.
Alexis Newsom, 2.64, solidly in the show.
Nice.
Will have some work to do. Jacob Oster has said he died. Yes, we knew that.
Would you like to know what my right rear tire temperature was?
Tell us, tell us.
312 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, that does not sound good. Phil Kraus, by the way, has also crashed.
How far did he get? At least I finished the run.
We will go and look at that when everyone else
Sort of.
is done and dusted, I think, is the way that we shall do this. Dan Zager's going to be next to the line in his Team Talent machine. Does a 2:59. That's a pretty solid effort, although he already had, I think, a slightly marginally better time, so not going to be in fact, wait, no. That's remarkable. Dan Zager's, his previous best time, I thought was a 5.9. No, it was a 5.2. I thought he'd matched his 4-lap average. Got excited. Malechka, Galotta, 2.69s. Improvement for them as well. Final drivers, though, onto their final lap in the form of Brendan Lichtenberg and also Tanner Watkins, who we watch right now. AJ Burden's just done a 2.40. Remember, he is solidly in the show. Tanner Watkins will slide across the line with a 2.81. Akabuizi's just done a 2.05, so going to be no improvement for him. Does seem as though with the pressure on, Brendan Lichtenberg's just done a 2.38. That might be his best run so far today. But people struggling to improve Traino in the very final runs of the day.
Yeah, it's just like the last fixed session was. It's full pressure. Everything's on the line. You don't know if you're like P35. Well, you would know, I guess, because me and Block aren't running. So if you're like P36 or P37, you're unsure whether or not you're going to make it. And, there might have been a couple people out there, like Phil and I, obviously are messing around, but some people out there might have thrown something pretty aggressive at the setup and hope that stuck.
So as a couple more drivers finish up, now officially the session is about to close. There's 10 seconds left on the board. Christian Hilgard's just crossed the line for Satellite Racing and done what is a 2.71. Marco Brazil in the Tent Factory Sim Racing machine. It's going to run out of time, or is he going to be able to finish this run? Going to be able to finish the run. In fact, no, excuse me. Runs out of time, and so exits out of the final corner, but will not improve. And so that is officially the gunfire, checkered flag out, and we are done and dusted for qualifying for the 2024 iRacing Indy 500. How does it feel to say that, Trainer? Feels like a long time in the making.
It is. The whole week itself is, pretty stressful. Phil's a good example of that, where they knew they needed to find time to move up in the field, and they spent pretty much an entire day dedicated to trying to find time, which is pretty respectable. I know Power Slide had to do that at what was it, 2020 maybe, where they were at risk for not making the field either.
Jacob. Sorry, I'm just watching how he killed himself.
What did he do?
You'll see it in a few moments' time. That's what I can tell you. Oh boy, that was something. I'm going to try and figure out how Phil Kraus died, because that might be fun as well. So while we wrap all of this up, our coverage, let's go and have a chat with a couple of the drivers. Let's start with Jacob Oster. Jacob, PPE was not enough, was it?
I think it did work because I am alive still. I probably have a concussion, so tonight's Friday 500 may go a little awry, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, so I'm making sure that I tell all my teammates avoid you out on track today and tomorrow with the potential concussion syndrome. But outside of that, let's talk about this. Just discussing with Traino. Finally, Q week in the book. Feels like an age since we've been able to say that. How do you feel now with just the racing left to go?
I feel pretty confident considering especially how 2 years ago went and how the 500s in between now and then have gone. Our race set feels really, really good. I look forward to the race here in a couple hours just to kind of get a good feel, get back in the rhythm, and start to actually race this car again for real. Because it's been a real long time since we've done that.
That is true indeed, and again, we have plenty of coverage of that coming up on the iRacing Esports Network. Jacob, thanks for coming to chat with us. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks as always, Arjuna. FMR.
FMR indeed. Hashtag FMR. Let's go chat with Phil Kraus because we well, I think there's no other way to say it. We bullied him into taking off the rear wicker, and Phil, reports from pit lane is it didn't go great.
How did it go?
Yeah, the AMR safety crew are real busy in turn 1. To be honest, we were ripping on the outlap though. Like, I watched my speed crossing the line. That track was real green, and then it was real red.
Through turn 1, we're watching it on the broadcast right now.
Turn 1 and there was no hope.
Was this turn 1 lap 1 or turn 1 lap 2?
Turn 1 lap 1. I wanted to make it at least a lap. That was my bet.
See, okay, Trano, at least you made it a lap, okay?
Barely.
I made it 3 laps.
More successful.
Barely.
We'll throw up those fixed qualifying times, by the way, on the left. These are the confirmed times that iRacing has populated. So if you are looking through the left, you can see exactly who has made the big show. And right now on the bubble, it is Diogo Pinto, the one hoping to find out if anyone misses out on the race this coming Sunday that we will have coverage of on the iRacing Esports Network. So what's the plan now, Phil? Go off and grab a shower, maybe eat some food, and jump into one of the races to get ready for tomorrow?
No matter what I do, I am standing up from this sim rig the moment I leave this server, Arjuna. I've been sat here most of today, but yeah, dinner sounds great. The race, not so great. I'm hungry.
We'll let you go off and relax a little bit. The grind has come to a close, but the racing is still yet to come. Congratulations, Phil. Best of luck this weekend.
Yep, cheers, Arjuna, and obviously congratulations to Michele on an amazing run.
Michele Costantini grabs pole in the open iRacing Indy 500, but of course, let's not forget Hamilton Akabuizi. You see it on the left-hand side, pole position in this fixed 500. We'll get confirmation of the open qualifying results when we can. Let's go and chat, if we can, to the driver we haven't caught up with so far today, the defending 2022 iRacing Indy 500 winner, Christian Steele. Christian, how's it going? Do you have a copy?
Hey, how's it going? It's going okay.
Hashtag FMR. Qualifying is now in the books, and now the race lies ahead. How are you feeling about defending your 2022 iRacing Indy 500 win?
Honestly, feeling about as good as we can at the moment. I know we got a really good car under us, and we're starting 12th, which is about as good as you can get to be dangerous. I think, yeah, I think it's just a matter of execution, and you know, I really think just gotta play the strategy right and just pick people off one by one, and then, you know, hopefully by lap 180 we're in the conversation, and then, you know, from there anything can happen. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, Brandon, you know, there's only been one multi-time winner at the Speedway in the broadcast iRacing Indy 500s. Any tips? And back-to-back. Any tips for Christian as he tries to repeat your feat?
Well, the only advice I have is don't suck.
Wow.
Great. I'd never thought of that before.
I'm so glad I could help you.
The motivation. Christian, is it? I'm sure it's rumbling through your veins. Best of luck this weekend. It's going to be full of intrigue and action, and, well, I'm sure that at the end of 500 miles of racing, the Speedway will pick its winner.
Yeah, that's right. Looking forward to it.
Christian Steele, end of a long work week, ready to get to work with the racing at hand. Trying to figure out, still so many people sat there waiting for a chat. Who haven't we chatted with? Satellite Racing's driver of Christian Hilgard joins us now. Christian, a last-ditch run, and he snuck your way into the field. How are you feeling now in the big show for the iRacing Indy 500?
Relieved, I think, is the only word. A little bit excited too, I guess. But honestly, that final run, I didn't think it was possible for me to pull that out. I knew I could do better than I already had done in training, but it seemed like every single time I went into one of the qualifying sessions, things just went wrong somehow. You know, the pressure got to me, but we got there in the end, thankfully.
And now, of course, I've talked about it with a couple of the other guys. Got to get ready for the race tomorrow. How are you feeling about, race setup, what you need to go fast and to work your way through the field? Because, you'll be starting back in the pack and have to carve your way back towards the front to be in a chance to contend.
I have no idea what to expect. Obviously, with no open races this week, it's difficult to get any real practice in on the race trim. And To be fair, I've been so busy being very, very slow compared to my teammates that I needed to find time in qualifying anyway to even, make the race. If you don't make the race, who cares about race pace? So I don't have any laps on race pace really. I did try a setup very briefly last week, and that didn't go very well. So hopefully we can figure out something that's going to run a little bit better in the race tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be in the race, and I'm not expecting much. It'll be my first very competitive oval race, so top split 500. Pretty happy with that, but honestly, if I finish and I finish on the lead lap, I'll be more than happy tomorrow.
And as a road racer being converted in some ways to open wheel oval racing, Indy in many ways is one of the easier tracks, quote unquote, to adjust to because it drives more like a road course. But because of the speeds, the dirty air, decisions being made, there's so much complexity that comes through with it. You say it's your first attempt, and so I guess in that way the pressure somewhat relieved, right? You want to stay out of trouble and ultimately finish all 500 miles.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you say it though, that this track's more like a road course. I almost feel like it's the opposite. If there's any flaw in your technique, it's like you're making that mistake 4 times a lap, and that's what's been getting me this week, I feel like. And on other tracks, I know other ovals technically have 4 corners, but you're only making your mistakes twice per lap if you're doing something wrong. And it feels like it's a bit more punishing here at Indy in some ways.
I love the way that you describe it. Best of luck this weekend, Christian. Can't wait to see how you get on.
Thank you, Arjuna.
Christian Hilgard joins us from the Satellite Racing crew. And just one more chat to round out our 2024 Indy 500 qualifying coverage. We flick our graphics on screen back over to the open results, and these do seem to be confirmed. Michele Costantini, pole position winner for the iRacing Indy 500. Michele, how are you feeling now? Of course, the race tomorrow, but qualifying is done and dusted, and you've got the number 1 next to your name.
Yeah, I'm quite happy it's done, honestly. It's been quite a stressful week, as it always is. But yeah, looking forward to the race tomorrow. It's a whole different game, so yeah, let's try and do our best.
What's the kind of things that you're thinking about? Because you've seen, so many iRacing Indy 500s. You've been up the front so many different times before. I'm kind of wondering, what's the game plan? How are you going to get the checkered flag this time by?
Honestly, for the start, it's probably just gonna be a matter of not getting ran over. Just trying to play it safe, but don't give up too much track position, I guess. And yeah, that's about it, really. Should spread out a little bit more later on, hopefully. But yeah, just trying to survive for the first half and yeah, trying to push hard for the second.
And I've got both of you, Brandon Trainer and Michele Costantini in the broadcast booth with me. Remember back in 2022, you guys were among the most effective in terms of swap drafting together. How important is swap drafting going to be, especially at the start of tomorrow's race if it's cold? Will you need to be working together with people to try and control the track position at the front?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in 2022 we lasted 4 laps swap drafting, but the year before was a bit better. But yeah, it's gonna be important. But with how cold it's gonna be at the start, I don't see how people are just gonna sit behind. But we'll see. I hope everyone just behaves.
Well, racing drivers behave. We'll see if we're living on a dream. Congratulations, Michele, on a great qualifying run. Fast Friday is yours. Best of luck in the race tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we've been able to peer pressure him as well into doing the double, into doing the iRacing Fixed 500 as well. But that is basically coverage done and dusted. Brandon Trainer has been very patient sitting with me here in the broadcast booth. Brandon, some final thoughts from you before we wrap things up and we focus at the task at hand. You'll go and chat with your Team i5G and Apex Racing teammates, get them ready for the task at hand, 500 miles, and then put yourself in position. Hope the Speedway picks you to be its winner.
Yeah, it's excuse me. It's exciting to be back. It's been a long 2 years for everybody in this community. So excited to be back. The track temperature changing throughout the race is going to be something we're not used to, at least in this race. You have it in the official races with the open series and stuff, but from what everybody kind of knows, it's going to be pretty cold to start, which will keep everybody packed up in about, I don't know, maybe an hour or so is when you'll see it hopefully start spreading out, and you'll see the better drivers and the better setups kind of come to the front, and start seeing the weaknesses show from people's setups, and hopefully the end of the race turns into a full stint length run with some good battling. The 1 or 2 lap shootouts are always really exciting to see, but as a driver it sucks because one wrong move, or you pick the wrong line one corner and you get passed by 3 cars. So I think on our side, at least for our team, we kind of want as long of a green flag win as we can. That's usually where we prevail, but it's Indy, and anything can happen.
And well, with that, qualifying is done and dusted. The drivers will get their sleep, will focus in on the race setup, and be geared up for this coming weekend. Their chance to be immortalized into the history books, a winner of the iRacing Indy 500. That coverage all to come on the iRacing Esports Network. But for now, it's time to bid you farewell. Team My5G do the double pole position in the iRacing Indy 500, with Michele Costantini punching in a 39.193. In the iRacing Fixed Indy 500 is Hamilton Akabueezi with the 39.470, standing on top of the mountain, but with 32 hungry drivers ready to try and pounce when we go racing for the 500 miles. Who else shined bright across a qualifying week? Well, the likes of Phil Kraus grabbing top 3 in both of the fixed and open qualifying. Same can be said, though, for Michele Costantini. There'll be 2 to watch, that is for sure. For our team behind the scenes at RaceSpotTV, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to be back here in the month of May, albeit racing tomorrow in the month of June. So long, and it's great to be back at the racing capital of the world.